Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. My name is RD Reynolds, and I want to welcome you to the YouTube Live and the podcast. So, if you streaming this on any of the streaming apps, go check out RD Reynolds Outdoors on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to RD Reynolds Outdoor on any place that you stream podcasts. Today, our episode is brought to you by Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made full waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for. Give Keith a call. Tell him what you're looking for. He can load it however you want it. You want a blend? He can do it. You want Bisma? That's what I just ordered. I ordered some number 4 Bisma and 2 3/4 amazing shells. So give him a call. Also, new to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people would know them as Kick Chotes, has partnered up with the channel. I am doing a series right now on Kicks butt chokes. I got a ton of ammunition, shotgun shells that I am testing from 2-inch, 3-inch, 3.5s, different brands of ammunition, different chokes out of different guns. Go check that out. There's other choke related episodes also on the channel. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. And today, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you back. So today we got Jason Dees on the YouTube Live and podcast. His face kind of looks familiar because we had him on, what was that, about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago for talking Ducks Unlimited stuff.
So we was talking Ducks Unlimited from Catawba out of York or Rock Hill area.
Yeah, North Catawba out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Right. Yep.
So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Twin Creek Outfitters and Guide Service. So who is Jason on this side of the board? Last time we talked to you about Ducks Unlimited. So who are you on this side of the board?
Yeah, so when I'm wearing this hat, Twin Creek Outfitter and Guide Service, this is something that just recently started up. I guess I've had my captain's license and everything for about right at a year now, 6-8 months. But yeah, just something I've always wanted to do. I've been fishing and hunting, and I actually did some commercial fishing, 15 plus years ago. Just always been kind of a dream, something I've always wanted to do. So we're just getting started in that. And we've got, I think, a lot of good things going on with the guide service. So it's not just your standard, pay me and I'll take you fishing for a day. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on with it, all inclusive trips and everything like that.
So let's talk about outfitters, which would probably be hunting, which I mean I know that, but I'm sarcastically saying that, and then guide service. That's 2 words. So what 2 things are you going to be offering?
Yeah, so right now we're offering catfishing trips on Lake Watery, striper, and this spring I will start offering crappie trips as well. Mostly on Lake Watery because we've got a lodge down there. So we'll be operating out of that lodge, being able to offer overnight stuff, all inclusive if you want. Also do some stuff on Lake Wally and Lake Murray, but it's mainly Lake Watery. And
we'll get to that lodge kind of stuff when I'll pull up the website here in a little bit. We could talk about that too. So I didn't want to cut you off, but we will show that and talk about it.
But yeah, that's kind of what I would call the guide part of it, fishing guide. And the outfitters is something, I guess it's sort of starting with sea ducks. So I love to sea duck hunt. We've talked about that a bunch before.
Yeah. I like sea ducks too.
So
and them are some tough birds to kill.
Yeah, your promo stuff, I might need to try some of that ammunition because, yeah, they are tough rascals. But so the outfitter service, definitely the sea ducks. So we get more into it. I've kind of got a surprise for you on a trip that I'm putting together. Probably going to be, next year, but it'll be a full-on sort of earn its title of outfitter with that one.
That sounds great. So how long have you been going to the coast hunting?
I guess about 4 years since we sort of discovered sea ducks. So it, not that long really, but it's kind of an untapped resource, I think, and really North and South Carolina. I've been a duck hunter for, I don't know, 20 years and, been in hunt clubs and everything, still run a hunt club, but, getting up super early in the morning to go out and chase woodies for, 30 minutes and, which I still love. And then we kind of stumbled on sea ducks and, they fly all day long. We shoot a limit, you get variety. So I just loved it. I mean, from the very first time I went, just absolutely had a ball. And it was it's kind of a nice break, if you're doing the puddle duck hunting, especially in South Carolina, it's hard to go out there and shoot a limit of mallards and all that. Unless you're on one of these, private impoundments or something. But, yeah, it was just a great time, and we kind of been perfecting it. And, I guess have been obviously doing it for the guide service, started up last year. But ran several trips here over the last few years with buddies and friends and DU guys, and we just been having a ball with that.
So what species did y'all get last year?
The staple species is going to be the black scoter. I mean, you're going to shoot more of those than anything else, but you do get some variety. Black scoters, we shot more of those than anything else. We shot a lot of buffleheads. We got, those are cool birds. We got white-winged scoters. We even got a long-tailed duck last year, which that's pretty impressive. I got that one in Charleston, so that's pretty far south for long-tailed duck.
Yeah, that's pretty cool out of Charleston area.
Yep.
So
yeah. And
for the people that just joined in, so this would be a bufflehead, which a lot of people will know buffleheads. They kind of look like butterball turkeys flying in the air, and they are some of the coolest birds I think to land. I mean, they look like a big old butterball, but there is a bunch of other sea ducks that people may not know about. They have a lot of names. I always called them clown face.
Yeah, that's the surf scoter.
That's right. and them are really pretty. And you know, a lot of people don't know that with sea ducks, because up till last year, like you said, a lot of people don't sea duck hunt. So sea ducks is totally different, like totally different way of hunting. And like I said earlier, I would almost put a sea duck in the category of a goose trying to take down. That is how hard they are.
Yeah, we went through. You spend more shells sometimes on one bird than you do, the whole flock when they come in. If you get to chasing one, because they are divers by nature, but yeah, they are just tough as nails. They spend pretty much their whole life out on the ocean.
And usually when you shoot them, as soon as they hit the water, you need to shoot them again.
Yeah, I always tell my guys, shoot them until they're belly up. Yeah, because once they dive, they can do that for a long time. You get in that dive, they pop up 75 yards, and that can go on for 30 minutes. So yeah,
and they are fast swimmers too.
Yeah, they can cover 7,500 yards in no time.
And a lot of people don't know that this hole in their nose here. I'm no duck biologist or any kind of smart person at any means here, but this hole has to do with them filtering salt water while they're drinking. It's like a filter for them.
Yeah, it's a cool feature. Like I said, they pretty much spend their whole life out on the ocean and primarily feed on mollusk, so they're eating shrimp and small crabs and all that. So yeah, they have to have a way to get rid of all that salt. So
here is the black. What we see a lot around here would be just the solid black ones.
Yeah, that's a drake. Those, to your point, at those are the drake black scoters, and some people call them scooters.
Yeah,
I call them scoters. I think whatever you want to call them is fine. But I think that's a pretty bird. I mean, they're just jet black, like a high gloss black with that bright orange bill.
Yeah. And then you got one more that's black, and that is the white wing. And I'm not sure. I might have to type it in. There we go. So here's all three pictures of them.
There you go.
This would be a white wing, and it would have a little bit of white on their wing. So
right, they've got kind of a white band on their wings, and they've got that little sort of teardrop thing around their eye. And so they're a cool bird. And we shot those last year out of Oak Island and Charleston. Some white wings. Mm-hmm.
The only one I got is the common, the black one. I really want a clown face. And this would be, I saw it up here. So this is the long tail that you shot, y'all got last year. Mm-hmm. And when we were in the Outer Banks, I saw one of them land and landed in the water. And I'm like, man, what in the world is that? I mean, it was like first time sea duck hunting. And, we were in the blind, just me and my buddy. And I'm like, I don't know a other duck who has a long tail other than a pintail. And I'm like, I'm a 1,000. I mean,
definitely not a pintail.
If there was a number high enough to say you're 100% no, it wasn't a pintail, that's how high. I'm like, I know it's not a pintail, but I don't know any other duck that has a long tail like that. And here I am trying to look on my phone, and I'm like, is this even a species that you can even hunt? And by the time I get all the information, that joker was long gone. And
that's kind of the prize duck of the sea duck world.
Yeah,
they're also called old squall. A lot of people refer to them as old squall. Real popular up in the Chesapeake Bay area. They all refer to them as old squall up there.
That's pretty much what the guide said when he showed up. He was like, why didn't you shoot it? And I was like, well, I wanted to be that ethical hunter that didn't want to shoot something that I wasn't supposed to. And like you said, a lot of people don't sea duck hunt because you don't really see these, especially in Lancaster. Unless you're on the coast, you're probably not going to see these sea ducks unless a hurricane or something just pushes them in. So all these species of ducks were completely new to me, and I didn't want to shoot some bird off the coast that wasn't supposed to be shot at. And after getting back, and the guy telling me, that's kind of rare to even see them, much less have the opportunity to shoot at them. And it's like, okay, we'll just keep rubbing it in how much I should have shot, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and you said you were hunting up at the Outer Banks on your sea duck trip?
I was.
Okay.
I was in the sound part of before you get on the first ferry. Was that Swan's Quarter?
Okay, yeah, I think so. I'm not super familiar with that area.
We can pull it up. Cause I probably need a map to talk about where you're gonna be out of. But yeah, I love the Outer Banks. I'm going back this year, in January.
Now I've been hunting on the sound off Ocracoke. Shot a lot of pintail up there.
Yeah. So we were in this part of the water because this is Cedar Island. I'm not sure what island I said to start with, but Cedar Island is the first one with the ferry here. And most people don't know a lot about the Outer Banks. So the sound part is in between mainland and like the island part of the ocean. So this part is the ocean, this part's the sound, which is not very deep. I'm not sure how deep it is down here towards Wilmington and stuff where y'all mostly been hunting, but up here is not very deep. I think the deepest part may be 20 foot, but it was crazy. You get on plane, you go across the boat, and when the boat sits down, I mean, you're almost in knee deep water, and you can walk for a long time. And it was crazy.
Fellas I hunted with out of Ocracoke, they said they went through about 3 props a year because they were basically they would just power through super shallow water, and the sand would just eat up the props.
Yeah. I hunted out of Ocracoke too. So here's Ocracoke. No, let me take that back. We hunted out of Hatteras.
Mm-hmm.
We hunted out of Hatteras. We left I think the grill and marina right here. We went right out here. If you probably zoomed in far enough, you probably could find the blinds. There's the blind, right? Not that particular one, but that is what they look like. And literally the ferry would ride through here. We would see dolphins. I mean, if you never hunt the Outer Banks, that's a cool place to hunt.
Were you in curtain blinds out there?
No, but the guy that we went with does own curtain blinds. And curtain, talking with you, I know you're gonna know, but curtain blinds usually cost more to hunt out of because they have to go get all the water out of them. They're harder to bury. There's a lot more work goes into curtain blinds, so the fee is a little bit more per gun. And the first time you go and you don't want to spend the most money, so we chose to go with the blind, the stake blind, which is not really stakes, more like telephone poles. But yes, he offered them, and supposedly you could get some brants and pintails out there, but it was pretty cool just to watch the ferries go by, the dolphins, and the sea ducks were crazy. So we hunted Hatteras and then over here in Cedar Island. And I think not last year, but the year before, we hunted out of Buford area. There was some little marina somewhere down in here. We went out and then got out here in this big water, and we had a pretty good hunt. But it was it was after Christmas. It was 2 years ago Christmas. It had to be 80 degrees, like legit. We're out there in t-shirts, sweating, and I mean it was just like almost like January 1st. I mean it. And the crazy part was 3 days later, on the day we were leaving, that real bad storm that came through Reelfoot Lake, Tennessee, with the tornadoes that I think it killed a couple people, but the one that touched down and went through Reelfoot Lake came through North Carolina and went through the Outer Banks, and the temperature dropped like 45 degrees like instantly overnight. So if we could have just hunted that day or the day after when it was so cold, it would have been a whole different experience. But it's just like hunting. You can't win on every go around.
Yeah, and that is one good thing about what I kind of like about the sea duck hunting. We've been out there when it's been freezing cold, wind blowing, and bundled up, and then just like you said, we've been out there when it's been 70 degrees and you're literally in shorts and a t-shirt, and you're still shooting ducks, which is cool because that's not going to happen typically if you're in an impoundment 70-degree day, and you might as well write that off. But it still works out there. Basically, once they start coming, they're going to keep coming.
Right, and they work off of the tide a lot too, because when the tide's coming out, it's when they're trying to get to the marshes and getting all that creatures that they eat off the water out of the water also.
Yeah, and now where we hunt, though, see, we're not hunting marsh, so we're sound. We're actually where we hunt. We are actually out in the ocean. I'm 1 to 3 miles offshore.
So you're going
totally different experience.
So you're going out into the ocean and not the sounds.
Yeah, so hunting out of Charleston and Oak Island, there really isn't a sound. I mean, you got the harbor in Charleston. But yeah, we are in Charleston. We're going out usually around the jetties. They like to fly the tips of the jetties. And so we're working around the jetties, which those go out right at 3 miles from land. And Oak Island, we are hunting off of Jaybird Shoals. We're hunting off of Frying Pan Shoals right at the tip of Bald Head Island. And certain weather conditions will run up out of Wrightsville Beach and hunt, kind of start around the jetties out of Wrightsville. But
so here's Oak Island. This is the Oak Island you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Beach, Oak Island.
Yep.
Okay.
Oak Island, North Carolina.
So not to change topics or anything, or any kind of weird conspiracies, but wasn't this the area that them guys went missing last year?
Yeah, so that was like a big scandal.
Right.
They went missing out of Little River, I think, is where they were hunting.
That's right.
And they ended up finding stuff in the Cape Fear River. So that area you were just on, they were searching in that vicinity. But yeah, they started in Little River and basically went almost due east and kind of into the Cape Fear River.
Yeah. So Little River's in South Carolina. And then I do remember up to that point, I ain't even thought nothing else about it, because I do think they found that guy. And I think he showed up like a couple of weeks later and it all just went hush hush. But anyway, let's get back to your topic. Who cares about that one? So here's Oak Island. So are y'all getting in the intercoastal waterway, or y'all coming out of this point?
Yeah, so we there's a couple different ramps, but yeah, we're putting it on the intercoastal. And most days we're coming out of the Cape Fear River, which is east. Yeah, that Cape Fear River there. We're coming out there, and we are typically, weather dictates a lot of where you go with sea duck hunting. Direction of the wind really determines where you hunt more than anything else. But ideally, we're hunting right where your cursor is, Jaybird Shoals area. Or even better than that, the tip of Bald Head Island.
That ain't your boat right there, is it?
No, that's probably not me there.
Google got you. So there's Bald Head.
Yeah, so if you keep going east, if you keep scrolling east, you'll see the Bald Head Island comes to a tip there, and all that rough-looking water, that is the start of Frying Pan Shoals. So everything flying south has to make that turn. So that's a pretty good spot to key in on.
And that definitely looks shallow.
Yeah, that's shallow. I typically like to set up for sea duck hunting in 10 to 20 foot of water. You can be shallower than that, kind of just go where the birds are. Right. I don't like to anchor up too shallow, because then you end up getting in a mess. You don't want to anchor up right in that white water. You want to be off of that, because you do have to chase birds and all that kind of stuff.
You got to go get them.
You got to go get them, and you don't want them to go get them in breakers.
Right.
But that whole area in front of Bald Head can be real productive.
Yeah, I ain't when I see duck, we were mostly in the south, so yeah. So never been in the ocean part. But for us being in South Carolina and talking about you as a guide service, most people know where Myrtle Beach is, Little River, North Myrtle Beach. That's not very far. So you can get the experience either going out of, Oak Island here or Charleston and be back in the same day.
Yeah, so I do so all of our all-inclusive multi-day stuff goes out of Oak Island. And that's really just because I have a house there. So that kind of dictates that's where the overnight stuff is out of. The day trips I do out of Charleston. I live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So day trips are done out of Charleston. I love Charleston. I think I won't want to say the hunting's better, but it's cool being around those jetties. It just draws all sorts of species. We've even shot a pintail out there. We've shot bluebill. We've shot pintail. Don't go down there expecting to shoot those things, but you just never know what's going to come flying out of that area because you have some, there's all kind of ducks down there. And
it's going to be our year.
Fly over the ocean.
It's going to be our year. We're going to get snow. They're talking about it. It's going to be cold. It's going to be the year of the ducks. I've been a Gamecock fan a long time, so I am used to saying this is going to be our year.
Yeah, staying positive.
This is going to be our duck year.
Yeah, and I tell you, with sea ducks, it's they're just always there. I mean, once they arrive, you like anything, you've got bang up days, but I've never had a bad day sea duck hunting. We've had days that were slower. You may have to wait longer in between flights, but I'm almost positive when I say, yeah, we limited out every trip last year. We shot a limit every trip. And we ran, I don't know, we probably hunted 20 plus days.
And they like to raft up with each other too, so.
Yeah, we don't really like them to do that. We like them flying, but that's why they come in, because what we're doing, we're going out, we're setting up, trying to get where the birds are flying. There's spots that I kind of go to, but if we see the birds are flying a certain line, which they will, and it varies from one day. Sometimes they're flying a mile offshore. Sometimes they're flying 3 miles offshore. And wherever you see those big lines, you just kind of want to get on that flight path for that day, and you put out a big decoy spread and wait for them to come in.
So while I got the web internet pulled up on the tab here, so here is the website is twincreekcharters.com. So let's go through each tab here. Obviously, that is one heck of a boat, and it is set up for fishing, and that is a good looking boat.
Well, thank you. It's in fish mode in that picture. I will.
So earlier before we got started, you were telling us you were doing some stuff. So what did you do to the boat?
I wish I had a picture of that. I'm going to get a drone out and get some aerial pictures, but that boat can be converted completely into stealth sea duck mode. It's got inserts that snap and cover up every bit of white, every bit of chrome. So it becomes, completely camoed out, which we didn't run any camo last year. And like I said, we shot a limit every trip we did. So they will come to the boat. But I would say half of them decoy in and the other half are sort of flybys. Mm-hmm. And I want them all to decoy in. So that's why I did the camo.
And them are some fast birds too now.
Yeah, they are quick. Now they can be either way. Like when they're flying by, they're humming. When they commit, there is nothing more fun than having, anywhere from 6 to 20 birds cupped with feet down, and you're shooting them right in the face, and they'll do both. It's about half and half. Just just depends on the flock, what they want to do. But
All right, so let's while we on the sea duck, so let's do the all inclusive. Let's talk about it first. So here y'all are, and I'm sure prices change too per how long you want to stay and people like that. So we're not going to get into the meat and potatoes of the payments, but the all inclusive is out of Oak Island, correct?
that's correct. Yep.
And so what's your offering?
All right, so all inclusive, it truly is all inclusive. You show up, you bring your shotgun and your shells and your hunting license, and we literally have you from there. We're going to feed you. We're going to, we're obviously on the boat in the morning and during lunch. So, you're going to get coffee. You're going to get a sausage biscuit or pastry. You're going to have a bagged lunch. We're going to feed you a heck of a dinner every night. We're going to clean your ducks. We're going to give you the choice. I mean, you can clean your own, we'll clean your ducks. You can take the meat home, breast them out for you. Or what we've started doing, we make a excellent Italian duck sausage. And I kind of got this idea from a buddy of mine who runs a quail operation. If the client prefers, we'll take their meat and give them, packaged duck sausage ready to go. And we just sort of keep cycling it through like that. But that's up to the hunter. But if they want that option, that's included. So, we'll breast out to keep their meat, and we'll give them the equivalent already in the form of packaged duck sausage ready to go. That's delicious. So we're going to put
300 minimum, 3 hunters. I don't know, 300, 3 hunters minimum. How many people can you have?
I will do 4. 3 is ideal. 4 is the maximum for sea ducks. And there's so basically it's $900 a day, is whether it's, 2 people, you're going to pay for 3. If 2 people, we'll still take 2, but it's $900 a day for the boat to run, for 3 hunters. And that includes the full day hunting, all the stuff I just mentioned, plus your lodging. So we've got the house is 3 blocks from the beach, and it's about a mile from the boat ramp.
I mean,
there is a 2-night minimum.
You can't beat that. I mean, most places are $250, and you got to pay for your food and your lodging. I mean, that's almost a heck of a too good of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make it reasonable and fun. Like I said, there is a 2-night minimum just because it's 3 hours 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
But 3 guys for 2 full days of hunting, 2 nights lodging, all your meals, cleaning your ducks, the whole shebang. $1,800 divided by 3. I mean, it's a heck of a trip. Ends up being $600 a guy for, like I said, for 2 days and all that stuff. And the other thing, see, and
price across the board. I mean, like I said, most people are used to paying that anyway. So if you're listening,
and one thing, and I've been on when I started this, I've been on just a ton of guided fishing trips, hunts, everything you can imagine. Like I'm sure a lot of your listeners have. And I've always had in the back of my mind, one day I want to do this. This is kind of my thing. So I've kind of been taking notes for a couple decades. Every time I go with a guide or an outfitter, I'm always watching. What did they do great? What could they have done better? And I've kind of stored all this in my head and try to do all those things. So, like for instance, on these all-inclusive sea ducks, there are occasions when you might go out there and you might be done at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's fine. If the guys want to go back and watch football or whatever they want to do, that's fine. But I'm not one for sitting around. So down there, we've got fishing gear. If we're back by lunchtime and guys want to go fishing, we're going to clean ducks. We're going to go try to catch some sheephead or whatever's biting, as an option. And that's not extra. I've always looked at stuff, if you're paying me for the day, I'm going to give you a day. And a lot of guides are not like that, and that's fine. But that's the way I do it. I'm a dark to dark guy. So if the client wants to rest, that's fine. But if they want to get after it all day long, then we're going to get after it.
So in North Carolina down here, that what the person has to bring you, if you would have to have a North Carolina license and a North Carolina waterfowl permit, which you can get that offline, and most people are used to that. What's the HIP certification?
That is just what is it? I can't remember. It's the highly migratory. It's the migratory waterfowl permit. It has zero cost. You just got to make sure when you're getting your license, you check that. There's no cost to it. It just has to show up on your license.
I got you. I bought North Carolina the past 2 years, and I used to going in there and just hitting the renew and don't remember. Obviously, the federal duck stamp, you're gonna have to have that regardless of pretty much what state, every state you're running out of. Shotgun, and then 2 boxes of shells. That is legit. You will need some boxes of shells on some sea ducks.
Yeah, and like I said, I tell 2 boxes of shells, and rest assured, I've got many, many more boxes just in case, because I know there's been times when one bird has eaten up a whole box of shells. Everybody on the boat is trying to hit this bird that keeps popping his head up and diving. So I'll have extras on board, but typically 2 boxes. And I recommend BB. Some guys disagree with me. I've never had to tell anybody like they can't shoot that load, but I really, number 2 is about the smallest that I'm really going to allow. Just seen too many birds get away with 3s and 4s and stuff like that. So I'm, BB preferred, and some guys will shoot 2s, but that's about as light as you're going. And I prefer me personally, I like a 3.5. There's nothing wrong with a 3, but
that's y'all steel guys.
yeah, that's steel.
Yeah. Over here on the Bismarck cloud.
I've got to start shooting it. I mean, I've never really shot it. The price tags kind of scared me off, but I've been kind of tuning into your stuff. I'm going to have to try some.
Hey, I'm telling you, if you ever shoot TSS, I mean, I'm sure you turkey hunted with TSS. I mean, that is just like night and day difference. And obviously, I'm not saying go out there with TSS to see duck, but I shoot Bismarck on everything, and I can't wait to get him on the podcast and YouTube live. Muller from Muller Chokes, he did a video the other day, and I want to drill him more on this information. It's amazing how smart that guy is, but he's talked about leads. Like when you're shooting steel at 50 yards, you gotta have like an 8-foot lead or 6 to 8 foot lead. With Bismarck, it's 4 to 6 foot lead, and TSS is like a 2-foot lead. But it's just crazy how much difference, and it has a lot to do with velocity speed too, which I'm not going to go all into that bucket of craziness, but it is crazy how much difference still is over Bismarck, over TSS, and obviously I wasn't hunting back in the day of the lead days. People talked about, oh, we shoot lead, and I mean they just died instantly, and then you hear them people that went from the lead days to the steel days, and how many ducks got missed, and so there is some crazy science behind shotgun.
It's interesting on the leads, because I know there's been, out there on open ocean, wind can be a big factor, and there's been days when we're pulling, several feet leads. Every day's different, out there. You kind of have to just get out there, and after the first few flights, guys start kind of honing in what's going on.
So he is out of Florida, and he does a lot of sea duck hunting too, out of the marshes. And he released some of his shot cams, and it's amazing how much of a lead on them sea ducks. And like I said, you can't just say an 8-foot lead, because he goes in there and he talks about temperature, wind, all that plays huge keys. And like what you said of the changing of the atmosphere, he even goes in there to say, because he's a competitive shooter, he's like, when I shoot and skeet and I go to like Colorado, where the sea level is way higher, the atmosphere is totally different and shells act totally different. And I got to thinking, I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, you start wrapping your mind around it, and it's like, man, them guys are way smarter than me.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables in it. I don't know the science. I just know, like I said, every day is different out there on the ocean. Sometimes it takes you a while to dial it in. But
so here's some of the ducks y'all got.
Yep.
We talked about, which, let me move me out of the way here. So we talked about, can I move me? Well, there, I can move me. So here is, what I call the clown face sea ducks, but we didn't even talk about the hens.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. So you obviously hunted more than I have out to sea. Is all the hens the same, or are their beaks different too?
Well, the hens are all, like all ducks, they're kind of drab. So on the black scoters, they're kind of brownish, blackish, just a lighter. There's some of those kind of mixed in on that table. They have just kind of a brownish black beak. Same thing with the white wing scoters, pretty drab, kind of a brownish, charcoaly color, but they've still got that white band on their wings. And the same deal with the surf scoters. So all the females are, a shade of brownish gray, kind of like almost a little darker, but similar to like a mallard hen, but darker, and just kind of, uniform brownish beak. So we try not to shoot hens. They're super easy to tell apart with sea ducks. I mean, those the beaks on the black and the surf scoters, I mean, you could see those from like 200 yards away, and if it's a drake or a hen. And same thing with the buffleheads. It's super easy to tell a bufflehead drake.
Talking about the colors of ducks, and a lot of people don't know it or do know it, that the males in the duck species are usually the pretty ones, mostly because they are trying to attract the female. They got all the colors, and the buffleheads, they'll get their heads up because they're trying to turn on the female, to breed with. Where in the human world, the women are usually prettier than the men, and
it's the opposite.
It's the total opposite. So that's usually why the female ducks are not pretty, because they're trying to stay camouflaged. Also, other than a couple of species of ducks, the male usually flies away during breeding season. So the female is kind of doesn't have the pretty feathers. She's the one stuck around raising the babies. So they kind of fit into the wilderness a little bit better than the males do.
Right.
So that was just a cheap anatomy of ducks for free.
One thing I'll say too about the sea duck hunting, I really categorize it really two types of clients. One is your standard duck hunter who's, duck hunted marshes and swamps and all that kind of stuff, and they just, want to try something completely new and different. The other hunter we've had a lot of new hunters. This is a great hunt for a kid. I think you maybe in some of those pictures there were some women, guys that were bringing their wives out, and their wives are not going to get up at 3 a.m. and go, arm wrestle somebody for a spot back in the swamp somewhere. This is comfortable hunting. That we're leaving the dock at first light. So depending on the time of year, we're leaving the dock at roughly 7 a.m. There's no reason to be out there in the dark. So it's a comfortable hunt. I don't want to say it's an easy hunt, but you're not trudging, you're not in waders trudging through the swamp, getting out at 3 a.m, like I said, wrestling, guys for a hole. I mean, it's a great hunt for new hunters. We've had a ton of fun with young folks, and like I said, a lot of ladies that have come on their first hunt with their husband or boyfriend or whatever.
Did you have anybody get seasick?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. We're always inside of land, which makes it a little easier. And my boat is not a rough water boat, so we're not going to be out there in 5-foot seas or anything like that. So if it is a day where the wind is howling or the seas, we're going to be hunting jetties so we can tuck in behind. A lot of, like I said, the wind really determines where you hunt on sea duck hunting. So we'll use the land, whether it be in Oak Island, that's a south facing beach, versus Wilmington's an east facing beach. We'll use the land as wind blocks. We'll use jetties as wind blocks on windy days. So, there's options there.
I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I want to hunt out of one of them floating, what is that? What are them called? My mind went blank. The little boats that put you flat at water out in the sea.
Oh, yeah. God, my mind went blank too. Yeah, because we're thinking about getting them for next year. Layout boats.
Layout boats. Thank
Yeah.
you. Jeez, my first time talking about ducks today. So them people that layout hunt up in Michigan and Maine, they talk about 5-foot waves, and like the waves are going down, and you're shooting the birds, and then the bird goes above you. And I want to do that. I want to say I want to do that, but they say it is crazy, and hopefully one day I get to do it. But be my luck, I'm gonna get seasick doing it.
Well,
that's some crazy stuff right there, like Alaska kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, layout boats, the only bad thing about a layout boat down here is you might be done before you get started, because they absolutely will land on top of you in a layout boat out there. Whether it's, we wouldn't put a layout boat in rough conditions,
right, as
far as, for a guided trip. But on a real calm day, layout boats, they're great. And like I said, you might be done quick in a layout boat. But yeah, it is cool. I'm considering getting some layout boats, and I may end up doing something where we put a double man layout boat with a separate raft of decoys,
right,
and then hunt the guys out of the boat, 400 or 500 yards away, and then swap. That way that might allow me to take more hunters. I could hunt 3 to 4 out of the boat, 2 in the layout, and then, swap out. So, those are things we may do in the future. Don't know yet.
Y'all heard it first before he gets all the energy took out of him. But yeah, that's what a lot of people do too. They swap them, because once you get in them, I mean, you got to get out and move your feet and go to the restroom, stuff like that too. So
yeah, you don't want to be all day in one, that's for sure.
No, because you're pretty much on your back.
Yeah.
I have never hunted out of one, but I want to. That's on the do column. And I watch some videos all the time of people laid out in them things, and the ocean just a whipping them. And I think that'd be just one of them to do on the do list, and maybe scratch it off. And kind of like Fury at Carowinds, it was like, I want to ride that, and that is scratched off. And Don't want to do it again.
Another one is body booting. We got a good buddy up on Havre de Grace, Maryland, Susquehanna Flats, Joey Jobs. Man, that's a great trip. If you want a kind of a bucket list check off hunt, that is a very cool hunt.
And what is it again?
It's called body booting.
What is that?
It's literally, so they're going to take you out in the Chesapeake Bay up on the north end where it's shallow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to put you out. You're going to be a couple miles from the bank. You're going to be standing in anywhere from waist to, I'm short, so sometimes it's chest deep water for me, but for most guys, it's maybe slightly above their waist. And in the middle of a big decoy spread, and you're literally in a survival suit like you would see off of Deadliest Catch, big orange, giant, survival suit. And depending on what your decoy is, it's either going to be a swan or a Canadian goose. That'll determine whether you get a white long sleeve t-shirt or a gray long sleeve t-shirt. And you stand out there in the water that's about 38 to 40 degrees, and it's a blast. They'll put up to 8 guys out there, and you're just standing in the water shooting all sorts of variety, ducks coming in on you. And they have a mothership and kind of 2 tender John boats that get your ducks and let you in and out of the water to use the bathroom and all that stuff. But look it up, you guys watching, look up body booting, Joey Jobs. That's a cool hunt too.
That sounds interesting. So on the Sea Duck day trips, let's go to that one. Let's talk about that. So this one's going to be out of the Charleston.
Yeah, that's out of Charleston. And again, that's really just kind of logistics purposes. I love the Charleston jetties, tons of variety. The only, you can hunt down there in just about any weather conditions. It's the way the jetties are orientated. You can really, we didn't have to cancel a single hunt last year for weather. Let's put it that way. But it's the same setup as far as the hunt itself. The only difference is, I don't offer the all-inclusive. It's one of those deals. You meet me at the dock, and I've got you all day from there. I'll do multiple days. I just don't have a lodge down there. So, if guys want to get their own hotel room or whatever and do a couple days, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, so same setup, just like I said, just don't have a lodge or any type of housing that I offer down there.
I got you. And there's the picture of the Charleston Bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see the jetties in the background on some of those pictures. So,
what was one of the coolest birds y'all shot out there last year?
Well, I think the coolest one definitely is the long-tailed duck. We shot a handful of bluebills last year, which, that's just a bonus because that doesn't count towards your sea duck limit. That's not considered a sea duck.
Right.
We shot one pintail.
No, I lost him. He froze up. What happened to him? Wonder if he was on his phone. So while he connects back or unfreezes, or he'll figure it out in a minute. So while we got this spare time till he joins us back, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that share button. If you're listening on YouTube, go check out the podcast anywhere that you stream podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, all them places. You can listen to the same show on podcast. Share it on Facebook. Let people know. You can go check out RD Rentals Outdoors. You can get you some merch there. I got different kind of shirts there. Just trying to get the word out. If you notice something different in the waterfowl den, which the video hasn't posted yet. He's back. I got a pretty coyote skin hanging up now. Where'd you go, man? This conversation wasn't over. Did your phone die?
You still got me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Your video hadn't moved yet. There you go. A little choppy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. We were good, and then we weren't.
Yeah, who knows? It could have been the internet. I saw you were talking and then you froze up, so I was plugging my website while you were gone.
Gotcha.
So that's out of the Charleston area there.
Mhm.
What is this lodging tab? Obviously, it says White Oak Island here. So is this the house that you
Yeah.
would get?
Yeah. So those are the specific
Oh,
houses.
wait. I got to put the picture on the internet. I got to put it up here first. People don't even see what I'm talking about. Rookie mistake. There we go. All
Yeah.
right, so
So
this is Oak Island.
yeah. So that's the house we stay in Oak Island, and the June Creek Cottage is the watery house, which that's it's got pictures of that on there too. I also rent those properties though.
We get done scrolling through the pictures so everybody see them. I mean, that's almost a cool looking place to stay during the summertime. So that was the Oak Island, and then the watery one here is for the fishing side.
Right.
And June Creek, if you don't know about June Creek, that's June Creek. Is that the one that's outside the new South Carolina DNR landing?
Yeah, there is a landing. You could literally throw a baseball off my dock and hit the landing. So it's real convenient about launching the boat, and we just drive about 50 yards over, and we're home.
And you do a lot of fishing out there. And if people don't know about watery, right now they have lowered the dam down and doing some repairs. So watery is like, I don't know, 3 foot low at the moment. And they are
Correct.
taking a lot of that. They're taking a lot of that cement from where they took the dam, and they are building a lot of fish structures, and fishing at watery is probably going to get better. I mean, it's not that it's not good; it is good already. But they are taking some initiative to put in to make watery a better place to fish.
Yeah, I think it's either maybe 5 or 6 locations where they're dumping all that concrete. The striper bite's really on right now at watery. Catfish bites getting better every day.
I think they had a tournament down there this week or this past one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think some fella caught a 50. If I'm not getting my wires crossed, 52 or 54 pounder.
Man, that's
there's some big fish in watery. I mean, not Santee big,
right.
but we catch a lot of 30 pounders. I mean, a lot of my trips, a lot of fish in the mid 20s to low 30s.
I got you. And it could be my connection could be low. So what is this West Jefferson, North Carolina?
Yeah, so all those houses, when I'm not booking trips, we rent those. So the cabin is another property that I rent, and I just went ahead and put it on that website. So there is no hunting or fishing or anything like that. That's just strictly a vacation rental property.
So what he's saying is, you take your wife or girlfriend or significant other to the mountains, and then the next week you go scduckhunting, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that makes for a good trade-off.
It's always a fair trade. So the fishing tab here, you got all-inclusive here, and then a day trip on it. So let's talk about the fishing side.
Okay. Yeah, so like we talked about, most of it's done out of watery. I'll do other stuff, really special requests, but most of it's done out of watery. Main focus is catfish. When the striper are biting, I'm happy to do striper trips. And a lot of times we'll do combo. Like I just did one where we striper fished the first hour and a half. There was a great morning bite, and then we switched over and trolled for catfish the rest of the day and got a nice mixed bag. But it's kind of set up the same way as the duck. You know, we do the day trip. And that's a deal where you meet me at the dock. I'll drop you off at the dock. I'll clean your fish for you for a fee, that kind of deal. Or you can do the all-inclusive, book multiple days, multiple nights, and same as the duck, you know, I'm going to feed you 3 meals a day, clean your fish, package your fish, take care of you. You know, you show up and we got you from there kind of deal. Which those are my favorite trips to do. I mean, I'm happy to do day trips. I like people to have the full experience. And we just have a lot of fun getting to know people when you are with them, you know, for a day or two and having meals with them and cook some, you know, we cook some good food. It's really enjoyable.
Everybody likes to eat.
Everybody likes to eat.
Especially hunters. See if there's anything up under the gallery tab here. It might be the same photos. So up under contact, telephone number, which you could go ahead and get that out just in case somebody's not watching the video, just listening to the podcast. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so telephone number is 704-616-0907. You can contact me through the website, which is twincreekcharters.com. I'm on Facebook. If you just search Twin Creek Outfitter and Guide Service, you'll find my Facebook page there. So yeah, any of those are great ways to get in touch with me.
So when is the sea duck going to start up for y'all? Or when I say y'all, you.
Mm-hmm. So sea duck starts in North Carolina on November the 4th. That's their early season. It's November the 4th through the 25th of November in North Carolina. And then their regular season starts December the 18th through January 31st. Typically, you know, we're sea duck hunting as early as November the 4th. I mean, we had a great trip on November the 12th out of Oak Island last year and smashed them. So once they show up, we're on them. South Carolina, the dates are a little bit different. We don't really fool with the early season South Carolina. It's so short. It's just right there around Thanksgiving. But South Carolina start hunting December the 15th through January 31st. Give the birds time to get down that far south out of Charleston. The whole month of January is great in Charleston. December can be, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But by the time we get to January, Charleston's usually pretty hot.
And, you know, just another plug for somebody looking to go out of Charleston. Charleston is a beautiful city. So, you know, that would be one of them plugs, guys, if you're looking to go hunt. That would be a great place to take your significant other 2 days early, a day early, a day after. You can go hunt, and there is a ton of beautiful things in Charleston. So if you go hunting, make a plan, you know, stay a day early or a day late, and you probably can get some brownie points.
Yeah, for sure. You know, spend a day with a significant other and go take 2/3 of a day or something and go smash a bunch of sea ducks.
That's exactly right. Off topic of sea ducks, let's do, what's your favorite sea duck to hunt? Your favorite?
Oh, I mean, to hunt the black scoter, just because there's the most of them. As far as what's on my favorite sea duck to shoot, I mean, long-tailed duck for sure.
All right. So what's your favorite on coast puddle duck? That kind of, what would be your favorite?
My favorite duck, non-sea duck, is probably a pintail. I don't really know why. I like tail sprigs. I like the long tail and the pintail.
So we see something going on with the long tail with the pintail and the long tail sea duck.
Yeah. I like all ducks though, man. I mean, whatever. I like to see ducks flying, and I like it even better when they're decoying in. I'll take any of them. And other thing too, we shoot some like mergansers and stuff down there too. So like I said, there's variety. There's variety out there.
And getting into the mergansers are almost like sea ducks. There's like, I know there's 2 species. I think there's like 3 species of the merganser.
Yes, 3. There's a common, red-breasted, which that's mainly what we shoot out in the ocean is the red-breasted. And I think there's one other. There's 15 species of sea duck.
Yeah.
But it's the merganser family, the scoters, the eiders, the longtails, and of course, like golden eyes and harlequin, which we don't have around here. But
right, and that red-breasted merganser, I have not seen one with my own eyes, but I'm pretty sure that they're 2 times bigger than the regular merganser, aren't they? Aren't they?
A hooded merganser.
Yes, they're
twice. There's actually. Let's see if I can. Right behind me, there's one.
It's always weird.
Yeah,
it's
I
always
can't
weird to point backwards.
The screen, but there's a black scoter that side, and that you probably can't see it. But there's a red-breasted merganser on my wall back there. They're cool. They've got kind of the spiky hairdo. Not good table fare, but drake is a cool bird, I think, to have on your wall. Real colorful, kind of just a wild looking bird.
Yeah, they're definitely. And I know while we have hunted down towards Savannah, which Savannah ain't too far from Charleston, have you seen any whistling ducks out there? Like hear them?
You like the fullest whistling ducks?
Yeah.
I have not. I've never hunted down there though.
I got it.
So yeah,
I know we've seen them in Savannah. You see them and you hear them, but they're usually well before shooting light. And I don't like, honestly, I really don't know how far off the coast they go. But I mean, that is that's one of them weird birds too.
Yeah, I've seen those, in pictures, but I've never seen one in person. Never seen one flying. That may be one that I wouldn't shoot at because I wouldn't really know what I was looking at. In the wild. But
well, is there anything else you want to cover before we get off?
Real quick before we cut off, I told you I had like a kind of a surprise for you. I don't think I've even talked to you about this.
Oh mercy!
So we are working on a really cool trip for next year. It's going to be possibly 2 versions of the same trip. But what we're looking at doing is early November, probably the 2nd or 3rd week of November, doing a full week trip. Probably looking at $2,500 a person for 4 people. But we'll start off at the Watery Lodge. We're going to be catfishing. We're going to be crappie fishing. We're going to be striper fishing. We're going to be deer hunting. And then we're going to jump into trucks and we're going to go to Oak Island and we're going to go sea duck hunting for a couple days. So it is sort of like the grand tour. Probably only going to do it. We'll start with 1 week. And if we can squeeze 2 weeks, maybe in December, where we can still get duck, deer, and fishing's great that time of year. Of course, all inclusive, all the meals, the whole deal, kind of like a sportsman's week. That's one version of that. And another version we may end up doing, this idea kind of came together with some guys, actually a guy who did my website, is same basic trip. We're going to call it Man Camp. And this one's going to be tailored to the novice. So for the person who has a desire to do a bunch of outdoor stuff, but maybe has never been, is clueless. They don't have gear. They just want to go have a brand new experience. We're going to do a trip like that and tailor it to that group of individuals. It's going to be the same basic format. You're going to be, crappie, catfish, striper, sea duck, deer hunting, but we're going to slow it down and really do more of a instructional how-to, how to clean the deer, how to clean the ducks, how to cook for 6 or 8 guys in a lodge. Like I said, we're just going to slow everything down and make it a little bit more hands-on learning experience. So we'll see how that goes. If any of you guys listening want to give feedback on that, where you think it's a good idea, terrible idea, let us know.
Cool. I mean, who doesn't like to hunt, fish, and all that together anyway? So, I mean, I think that's a great idea.
I think it's cool. I mean, it's a week-long trip. You're going to have 5 full days in the outdoors, where you're, like I said, you're going to be probably fishing for a couple days. There's a couple travel days in there. That's why we're doing it for 7 days. But you're going to get to do it all. I mean, you're going to get the deer hunt, you're going to get the fish, you're going to get the sea duck hunt, all in the same week.
I mean, that sounds great. So have you already started? The books are open. You're already starting to take for this year, correct?
Yeah, I am booked solid on duck hunting for weekends, all through the sea duck season. I've still got lots of weekdays. So weekdays are open, but weekends are, unfortunately, those booked up several months ago. But anybody can get down for a weekday. We're all about that.
I got you. So telephone, we already gave out, website, hit you up. Anything else?
I think that's got it. Of course, if anybody has questions, I told them how to reach me, reach out to me. And I will do custom trips. If you've got something you want to do or some type of combo package, we can certainly discuss that. We're open to those things.
All right, that's good. Well, I appreciate you having you on, and I'm glad you came on. And I hope y'all tear them up this year, because I'm telling you, this is going to be our year. It's going to be our year.
I'm going to get you out there with me too. We talked about maybe doing a little video. So yeah, it will be our year. We'll get you down there this season for sure.
We will edit out every duck I miss.
Well, as long as you do that for me, I'm good.
That's the key of the editor. You can only show the ones you get. And
there you go.
Well, we shot our limit, but we're not going to show how many we missed.
Yeah, don't count the shells.
But hey, I appreciate you having you on. Like I said, y'all go check out his Facebook website. Hit him up. Hit Jason up. And hey, I appreciate it. And we're definitely gonna be talking again. Give a plug real quick to y'all's DU side too.
Oh yeah, North Catawba Ducks Unlimited here in Rock Hill. That's the chapter I'm affiliated with. If you're an outdoorsman or lady, we have a ton of fun. You can look that up on Facebook. Come hang out with us at one of our banquets. And like I said, we have a ton of fun and raise money, and it all goes for duck habitat, which helps everybody.
There you go. All right. Well, y'all heard his plans for next year. If you want to go ahead and get a part of that adventure, you better start getting brownie points with your significant other to go for a week-long adventure. Go ahead and hit Jason up on that. I'm sure he'll already be glad to talk to you about that. But again, I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate everybody watching, and going to watch this later. So until next time, I'll see y'all.
Thank you.